I have the privilege of interviewing Roy Smith, who was a member of the 2nd 4th Machine Gun Battalion. Now, Roy, maybe we can start. I'm aware and I'll record that you were born in 1916. Would you like to tell us a little bit of your life just before the war, before we start talking about your experience as a soldier?
Just before the war?
Yes. Say in the 1930s or when you arrived in Albany.
Or kind before the war when I landed in Albany. Well, I don't remember coming out to Australia, but we did land at Albany. From Albany, we went to what they call the group settlements. We came out on the cheap fare. And we lived in it wasn't a house, it was more of a humpy, really. But we had to put up with it, you know. My mother used to have to cook outside. And our stores and bread and that sort of thing was delivered by motor truck from Denmark. Now, if the weather was bad and the roads were bad, well, you just didn't eat. Your stores didn't arrive, so your mother had them sort of makeshift with flour and that sort of thing, you know, to keep us going. Well, but that group settlement scheme, if I remember, I was only out there, we were all out there for about 6 or 8 weeks, no longer. My mother had an accident, she had a septic leg, and they took her into Denmark to the hospital from there to Albany, and she passed on. And the police came out and picked us all up, the 2 sisters, I had a brother, he shot through. But my 2 sisters and myself, we finished up in Denmark. Now, one sister went to a boarding house, the other one went to a school teacher, and this Smith, he took me, Charlie Smith. As time went on, I went to school, and then he finished up legally adopting me and changing my name to what it is today, Roy Smith. From there I grew up with him, went to school, left school, worked for him like a slave all my life with him, cheap labour. Then I'm going a bit fast now. As time went on, I started to get very discontented. I was about 17 then. So a mate of mine and I, we shot through. We made arrangements we were going to shoot through, which we did. My stepmother, Charlie Smith's wife, she knew what I was going to do. And she came into my room about 2 o'clock in the morning and put something under the bed. And in the morning I picked it up and it was full of notes, muddy. Right. Daybreak broke. We shot to the railway station. We hid under a tarpaulin. In those days, your transport was the best way you could make it. Joy will tell you all about it. His father knew all about it. And from there, we finished up at No Anger Up. That's right, No Anger Up. And we worked there for, if I remember right, 12 and 6 a week on the keep. And how long would I have been there, No Anger Up? About, I'd say 6 or 8 months, I suppose. And all of a sudden, a telegram came to the farm where I was working to say they want me back home. As Charlie Smith was seriously ill. I said, it's too bad. Forget all about it. So I ignored it. Anyway, another telegram came up, well, here he goes, I've got to do something about this. So I logged home into Denmark. And he was there laying in a bed on the veranda. And that house is still there today, beautiful home, it's still there today, you can see it. Anyway, and I was smoking a cigarette, which if I did it when I was with him before he'd have shot me. And And I said, hello, Dan, how are you? Oh, he said, I'm glad you came. Now, he got out of his deathbed, he wasn't deathbed really, he got out of his bed and he sort of walked with a stick to his own office, took me to his office. He showed me where everything was in that office, everything, all his business, all his Masonic jewellery, everything. Told me all about the boats. I said, he said, there, and you carry on running the motor launch for the tourists? And I said, no worry, yes. I said, we'll go on, no worries at all. Okay, from there, that was the next morning, I must have the arrangements made. From the next morning, they took into Albany, because there was you couldn't get an operation at Denmark, in a small hospital. And into Albany went, they only last about 12 hours, apparently went up a cent of that. Oh. So then I carried on running the boats and that sort of thing. A bit of fishing thrown in. I used to do the net fishing in the weather, and I'd run tourists out in a pleasure boat in the summertime. Anyway, when the perpetual trustees came down to wind up the estate and find out about them in the business, that sort of thing, they said, how you been managing? I said, okay. And the stepmother was still there. And they advised me then to take a lot of the rowboats and that and take them out and sink them, so they wouldn't know what his estate was worth, So we'd try to cover up as much as we could. And the relation Charlie Smith's wife's side, her husband was a school teacher at Tamballup, and he came down. I didn't know a lot of these people until Charlie Smith died. They all came from near and far. And Roy said, I'd like to talk to you. I'd like to talk to you quietly somewhere. So we're outside. He said, look, Roy, he said, I think you're already upset over this. He said, you know what Charlie Smith has done to you, He said, I know how you work. How is truth is it? Well, he said, he has left you 1 shilling a week. And he left his wife £1 a week to live in that house. Because he knew if she sold it, she'd do something with the money. So anyway, from there on, when we found out about this estate, we read the will out, all the beneficiaries, where they all went. A lot of them went to Masonic, lots of went to Christian Science Church. A lot of his cronies he knew years ago, they all got the money. But whilst I'm galloping a bit now. When I was a prisoner of war, I was telling George Gwynn about this, so he's involved in this. George Gwynn is a solicitor. And I told him this. He said, listen, Roy said, Roy, when do you get back? If we get back, he said, I'd like to handle this. Anyway, away we go. War finished. And I got a job in Yanchep straight away. I was there for 4.5 years. I pulled the boat in there one day and there's George Gwynn on the landing. He said, Roy, can you spare half an hour? I said, well, I don't know. It's just dinner hour. There's people lined up waiting to go out. I said, as long as you're not too long. He said, can you meet me in Perth? Forget what.
Packer.
Yeah. Parker, and we'll get the whole story, which we did. We got the whole story lined out, and then what we do, he wrote to all the beneficiaries, and I wanted to finish up, Joyce. I didn't get much at all, did I, really?
And buy a motor car.
Huh?
You got enough to buy a motor car, which we didn't have.
Yeah, that's about all, yeah. Now, where'd I go from there?
We're going to go back to...
Oh, yeah, that's
Denmark.
right. Whilst I was at Yanchep, you had to be a bit of everything there. You had to be a cave guide, run the motor launch, and during the week you were doing maintenance work. But anyway, one Friday I had to take the store truck into Perth, pick up the store, and I got as far as Charlie Pearson's garage. You know Charlie Pearson's garage?
Certainly do.
I had an attack of malaria.
Oh.
Make the steering wheel. So I took to the bush. The parents, but luckily it was near Charlie Pearson's garage. Somebody come racing over at the grandma. I finished the tour. I don't know what happened to the truck to this day. And they took me straight to Hollywood. And when I went to Hollywood, they treated me and I met a lot of my mates who were already in there. And they said, "What are you doing for a trust?" I said, I told them, I said, "Jesus, you used to work some working for the dirty chaps, because I used to work down the, get the limestone out of the lime forest, get a bit of everything,
Wow.
I said, "Give it away." He said, "We get your job." Well, Mick Wench was the supervisor at Hollywood at the time, and nobody else could get a job at Hollywood Hospital unless you were second, fourth, or a POW. So I finished up there, which I did for 43 years. And I finished up there in, 1963, wasn't it? About 1963, right? Yeah? Yeah, from there, what did I do from there for 1930?
You went up to Wellington, oh, that was before.
Pardon?
You went up to Wellington, that's where you met me.
Yeah, let's go back to... We'll forget about Hollywood, just put that to one side, and we'll go back to the 1930s.
Yeah.
And this is quite interesting. Tell us about where you met Joy. Had you enlisted?
Oh, yeah, wait a minute.
Had you enlisted when?
I'm right with you.
Yeah.
Well, when I was running the motor launch and that sort of thing, trying to keep the ticking for a while. This involved quite a few weeks.
This is in Denmark.
Yeah, quite a few weeks. And you're glad to get any sort of a job. I used to cut more firewood for the butter factory, and in between, if I had somebody ring up and want a tip on the motor launch the next time, you'd try and work it all in, Anyway, I was working on this big job in Denmark on the butter factory. He was a fantastic bloke. Brown and Norman were the contractors. And they said, what are you doing like, He said, "What are you doing in the meantime when you finish with us?" I said, "Grab anything we can." But he said, "Look," he said, "if I get anything, I'll let you know." So, blow me down we finished the butter factory, and about a couple of weeks after, I think it was, they said word to me to give him a ring Brown and Norman. "Can you arrange to be in Albany such and such a time, as we got a contract to build a new hotel at Wong & Hills?" Yeah, well, I'll be in this. So I finished up went up with the contractors. I got a lift with them, and up at Wong & Hills, and worked on this hotel. And in the weekends, you had to make your own entertainment. Well, we were staying at a boarding house there called Mrs. Brown. All the brickies and plasters and that carpenters, they all stayed there. They had a player piano there with the rolls, and we used to get up and sing songs on the weekend. Anyhow, we went to it. One bloke said, "There's a dance on down here tonight, you want to be in it?" I said, "Yeah, I'll go out." So we went to this dance, and that's when I met Joy. And that's where the romance started from there.
Danced with me all night.
Yeah. So,
Had you?
And from there, I joined up from there, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
That's right.
Guides.
Oh, and a lot of the army used to come up to Wongan Hills on training, training.
Oh.
And I said, God, look at these folks with the big boots. And fancy being one of them. And I think he got them for one. I said, oh, gee, I don't know. I think I'll be in there. I'll join up. Things started to get a bit tough at the moment. So I joined up.
Now, what year was that?
Oh,
Oh, when we were married in 41, must have been only 40, wasn't it?
yeah, it'd be around about then, I'd say.
So did you go straight into the 2nd, 4th machine guns, or?
I went to the artillery first.
Yes.
And went through the usual procedure. Fill up your polyester straw, that was your mattress, and that's what they went through all that procedure.
Was that in Northam, or?
That was at Northam.
Uh-huh.
And there were, as I said before, I was artillery.
Uh-huh.
Infantry.
Ah, which battalion?
And then Major Sagers,
Yeah.
Major Sagers was, he was trying to form an orchestra or a band, a band, yes. And they wanted some volunteers. I said, gee, I'll be able to this. What can you play? I don't play banjo. You do, grab you do, right, transfer straight from the infantry into the Major Sagers' mob.
Yeah, now, can I just ask you, what battalion did you transfer from? Was
John Company.
No, what battalion? You were in infantry,
Yeah.
so you went from,
Infantry.
was it 16 battalion or 11 battalion?
13 platoon.
13th platoon. Well, that's in 2nd, 4th machine gun battalion, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep, right.
Yeah.
Okay, carry on.
And from there, I went, say, into the into Major Sagers' crowd. Yeah.
Into his company.
And that's why I stayed there.
Was he a major at the time?
Pardon?
Was he a major?
Yeah,
at
he
the
certainly
time?
was.
Right.
And then when we went overseas,
So just before you moved to going overseas,
pardon?
can I just run through a couple of things? You were in Northam,
Yeah.
then you went through to Woodside in South Australia to train, did you?
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes.
And
yes.
then you went by train and trucks right through to Darwin.
Correct.
And
Yes.
then from Darwin you went out to Port Moresby and got on the Aquitania.
Yeah. This is where we lost nearly all our instruments. There was a scare on from going from one to the other.
Yes.
And we'd finish up leaving a lot of our instruments behind.
Yes.
And of course, when we went to Singapore, he still tried to see if he could make a bit of music, so they improvised where they got one or two instruments, and they had a little bit of a band in Singapore, but it wasn't enough to sort of carry on. You know?
No. But from Port Moresby you went through Sydney.
And
From Port Moresby you came down, went through Sydney.
no, we were going to Singapore.
Yes, I know, but you came round
Oh, yes,
right
yes,
round
yes,
the country,
yes, yes.
didn't
We
you?
were around from Sydney around. We came back to Fremantle.
Yes, yeah.
And we said, now, we've been away from home a long, long time, and our boys are getting a bit discontented that we were one of the most well-trained battalions to ever leave West Australia. But we were trained for.
Yes,
We were trained for.
yes, that warfare.
No, we were trained for desert warfare. Effective machine gun, between you and I, was absolutely hopeless in Singapore, in the jungle. They're hopeless. They're okay in the open, on the beaches. But in amongst the jungle, no. At the finish, we managed to get a few Tommy guns. They were good.
Yes.
That's all we should have had.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
But now we're back at Fremantle,
Yeah.
and you'd arrived in
Oh, yeah.
Fremantle.
No leave.
No leave.
No leave. We're calling in for stores.
Uh-huh.
No leave. We said, oh yeah, and the blokes were starting to get real upset on the boat. They were getting stirred up. And anyway, there was a barge coming in, out with all the stores, right? The barge pulled in alongside of the boat was in. The next thing was about 150 of our blokes, woof, straight on take us ashore.
Yeah.
Stores and all. We were back again.
Yeah.
When we got to shore, blokes went from near and far everywhere. Like rang Joyce, said, "Where are you?" I said, "We're back in Fremantle." I said, "You're not?" "Yeah." And she rang her father.
And where was she when you rang her?
Joyce.
Dad was station master.
At Yarloop, so you never saw each other. You never saw each other.
Yes,
Yes.
that drove me down.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and you were a big
He was the station master.
Now you better tell us that Joyce's dad drove her up so they could see you.
Done?
Joyce's dad, father,
Yeah.
drove her to Perth so
Yeah.
that she could see you.
That's right.
Where did you meet up when you were in Perth?
At Bingos, at the dental spring of yours. Bingos in Beaufort Street. You were waiting there.
Oh, where were I forgot that.
Yeah,
Oh, well, yeah, that's from Joyce. That was right.
yeah,
They met us at SS Bingham, the dentist.
yes,
He was, we knew him very well.
Yeah.
Because he used to do all the country practices. He
Yeah.
knew me when I was in Denmark, you know,
Yes.
years ago.
yeah.
Anyway, we were waiting there. Well, they were waiting there for us there.
Yeah. Now you then went to, once you boarded the ship the next morning, or
I think it was the next morning.
Yes.
We left a few behind, but we caught up with them eventually.
and then you went through to Singapore.
Through to Singapore.
Did the ship go right to the shore, right to the wharf?
The ship we were on, I'm trying to remember what the name of it was.
I did mention it earlier, the
Was it
Aquitania.
Aquitania?
Yeah,
Aquitania. And she, another boat came in alongside, and we all transshipped onto that.
and it was a smaller boat, was it?
Smaller boat.
Yeah.
But I've never seen a ship get away so fast as what the Aquitania. She knew the right was on the wall.
Yes,
She on her way.
yes, yeah,
Finished up, we went up, we were led into a trap. There's no doubt about that.
yeah.
There's no, the Japs are in Singapore. Honestly.
Well, they were in Malay.
They've only got to,
Oh, I see what you mean.
they've only got to shave their hair off. They all look the same. You know?
Yeah, no, you're referring to this fifth column type Japanese, I
Yeah,
suppose.
that's right. Yeah.
So you landed on the, it's common knowledge that your battalion landed on the 24th of January.
Yes.
And when was the first time that you remember having direct contact with the Japanese, you know, sort of firing at them or them firing at you?
How long? When we
Yeah.
landed in Singapore?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Pretty quick. Very long.
Well, it must have been about 2 weeks later. If you,
Yeah.
no, maybe a week or two. Yes.
About a week, I reckon.
Yes, yes,
About a week.
yes. I think they came over the causeway.
Mick Wanky was with me.
Yes,
Oh, and he was me when he got his leg popped off.
yes, yes, yeah.
You were taken to hospital with shell shock.
That's right, but
Where was?
when the Japs started to come over Johor Peru Straits,
Yes,
their barges went over there, but they were loaded up with push bikes. Hundreds and hundreds of push bikes.
yes,
And when they landed, all they were interested, there was a few stayed in the roads and jungle, but most of them went to Singapore. And the moment they landed the shore, all they had push bikes. Right. Hundreds and hundreds of them. Straight to Singapore.
yeah.
And the ones that,
I need to query you on that because didn't they come across through the mangrove swamps? The barges came in.
where we were, we were
Yes.
near the Straits, to Johor Peru
Yes,
Straits,
yes,
where we were.
yes.
But there were different groups.
And you had very good fields of fire
Oh,
with your
yeah.
shield
we
machine
were
gun.
good there.
Did you kill many of the Japanese?
And
Would you know, did you kill many Japanese?
but that I wouldn't like to say. There was a lot of screaming and yelling going on.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't like to, you can bet your life that there was plenty of pole over here.
Were you?
You know what they used to do? They used to draw your fire. They used to climb up the coconut palms and rope themselves in,
Yes.
and to keep drawing that fire to keep drawing your fire on them,
Yes.
so that it allows their offsides them to keep going.
Yeah,
See what I mean?
Yes, I do.
They were up there and you were...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, who was your who was commanding you at the time? Who was your senior officer?
That I couldn't tell, I can't remember.
Were you near?
I would like to tell you.
Were you near Saggers?
Pardon?
Were you near Bert Saggers? Because he had a group of odd people.
No,
didn't he? Did you remember when? Do you remember when Colonel Ankeltel was killed? Did you know when he was killed?
No, we got rumours he was killed.
Yeah. So when did you know that Charles Green was commanding the battalion?
That I can't remember.
Okay.
I do remember. You might have helped me there. Where was the channel we swam? Swam across.
Crangy Creek?
Crangy.
Yeah.
Now, if you ever tried to swim in the channel with full uniform on, you know you're battling.
I think it'd be a bit difficult.
Well, we did it.
Yeah.
And the chaps for machine gunners, that's where it come in when we were crossing.
Yes.
They come down machine gunners.
Yeah. So they'd already crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the bloke that was in front of me, he was Howard Jacobs, I think. Anyway, one of our boys, he was in front of me, and he got ashore and he managed to grab something, a reed or something, to hold on to. And I said, give us your leg, throw your leg out so I can grab it, because it's currents like this, you know. So I grabbed his leg and I said, hang on like just hang on like this. And then he gradually
Pulled you in.
dropped me off on the other shore.
Now, when do you remember? Do you actually remember the day that the Allies surrendered? Do you remember that day? Do you remember the sudden silence when the guns stopped or anything like that?
We got rumours with leaflets. Leaflets were dropped in, thousands of leaflets to remove all POWs. But they said we're going to strafe the place. We were warned.
Now, do you remember when it was decided that you would go to Thailand? How were you chosen to go to Thailand? Were you with a group of people that all went to Thailand?
What, in preference to Japan, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you see what you did. It came out that in orders that you had a choice of either going on the mines in Japan or else going up to the land of plenty. I remember those words, the land of plenty. And we said, well, that'll do. So if I had a mate like Harry Paxton, I said, no, what do you want to do, Harry? He said, no, I think I'll stay. I said, I think I'll go up to the land of plenty.
So,
and the other bloke said, well, they went. Alf Worth, now, he went down the mines.
he went to Japan.
He went to Japan.
Yeah. Now, as I understand it, when the Japs told people that they want to take people to another place where the climate was better and there was more food, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
And you were allowed to take even the battalion band, and you're allowed to take instruments and all that sort of thing. So did you still have your banjo or whatever? No.
Mine was lost. And,
Was lost.
I've got one here, you know.
Have you? Good. Yeah, okay. So now do you remember can you remember the train trip up to Thailand?
Vaguely, yes. I don't think it took that long.
They say that it took 5 days, 4 nights, 5 days, with about 30 men each crammed into a railway truck.
Yeah, I remember the railway truck.
And you couldn't all, you could only about 1/3 could lie down, so they had to roster people. Some would be standing, some would be sitting,
That'd be correct.
some would be lying down.
That'd be correct.
And you didn't have meals very often. It's only when the train stopped.
That's right.
And you'd probably have
your rice, yeah.
And there were no toilet facilities in the coach. You had to make other arrangements for that.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's quite right.
Yeah. So
then, of course, a lot of the boats, even even in the transport going to Thailand, a lot of the boys got crook in the tummy,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah, dysentery.
dysentery,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Now, when you get to Thailand, there's a couple of places you could have stopped at in Thailand, and they're only 6 kilometres apart. One is Ban Pong, the name is well known,
Yeah.
and the other one's Non Pladuk.
Yeah.
Now, I know you don't quite remember how you started moving up, but you know, if we can accept that you had got up to Kanchanaburi, which you would know that location,
Yeah, I know that, yeah.
and you had either got there by marching or maybe you'd gone up on flat top railway trucks by the Japanese.
I didn't go to that time. Very, we marched.
You marched.
We marched. That's
Okay.
for sure. On foot.
Yeah. So do you remember, was it a bitumen road that you marched up, or was it just a track?
A track.
Okay. So from Kanchanaburi, you then went through to Tarsao, or Tarso.
They had a hospital in Canberra.
They would have had a hospital facility, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you then went up to work on the line, and we know that you were with...
First, you cleared the jungle.
Yes.
That was it. You had to clear the jungle.
Now, was that to clear the area for the railway line to go, or was it to clear an area for your camp?
Clearing for railway and quarters.
And for your quarters.
And quarters for
Yeah.
readiness. Come up from the sleep.
Yeah, and was it difficult to clear? What was it?
No, it was, I wouldn't say, mind you, some of it was because the Japs would say, you've got to do so,
Yes.
and our officers say, oh no, in other words, too heavy. And they'd start screaming and yelling. There were stages they brought elephants in, and the elephants were standing while our blokes were working.
Yes.
And say, all the soldiers much stronger.
Yes.
If you couldn't put another 15, 20 men on to pull. You know, this sort of
And
thing.
this is to pull the
And
bamboo.
elephants would be standing there doing nothing.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Correct.
So you'd be pulling down the bamboos or something like that, would you? Or
Coconut
trees?
palms.
Yes.
Big coconut palms.
Yes. Yeah. So you cleared the trace. You cleared the area for your own campsite. What did you actually sleep in when you were there? Were you in tents, or did you have leaf-covered huts, or what they call atap huts?
Trying to what they were made of. What they were made of. Eh?
Bamboo.
I think they'd be bamboo, yeah. I think, they were bamboo. And there were bamboo slats. You slept on bamboo slats.
Yes.
You get what you do, the bamboo up there grows into stuff that big. So if you wanted a bed, you cut a big one down, you cut your length of your bed, and then you run your perong or whatever you'd split them down so far, and then you could fold them out like that and push them down, then you'd have a section. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Might take one section, might take two to make your bed. Then you bind, crisscross two things at the back to brace them on. That was your bed.
Yes, yeah. No, I follow what you're saying. Now, we've discovered that you were clearing the trash, you were clearing the area to put your camp up. Did you build embankments? Yeah. Did you cart soil to build up embankments?
Yes.
Yes.
I had to go.
Was that hard work?
Well, yeah.
Was that hard work?
No, because how they work it sounds funny, but this is what happened. You see that big embankment or big cutting that nips us out. In other words, all men in there. That's all got to come out. Yeah, so that's in you go.
Yeah.
And there'd be 70 men at the head digging it out. And it would be put into baskets, round baskets. Then you'd have a chain of men. Might have two chains, but you'd pass it. and then the other end and dump it.
Mm.
And this is how it used to go on. Day in and day out, night in and night out.
Yes, yes. And what about, you told me you did pile driving, but you said you did that in Singapore.
Out at the Gulf and something.
Yes.
We did a bit of
Yeah.
pole driving out there, yes.
Yeah.
And while we were working over there, a couple of our blokes used to have to look after our rice for our lunch and that sort of thing, you know.
Yes. Now, when you're in Thailand and you're on the line, did you get ill at any time?
Oh yeah, you're telling me.
Yeah. What did you have?
Dysentery.
Yes.
Dysentery, mostly dysentery. And I had a really bad, I was on a television the other night. It was a common thing. You had sleep trenches over your toilets.
Yes. Yeah.
You have about 2 bamboos and you'd stand on those, you know, and
Yes.
they'd have the sleep trenches, I don't know how deep, it'd be pretty deep.
Yes.
Well, you have dysentery that bad that you'd be backwards and forwards, slipping and sliding, you had nothing on your feet, you'd fall out, have a kettle, you never had the grip on your feet. And it was a common thing to see 8 or 10 or 15 blokes lying down alongside the top, like, they get the energy, you see, them, because if they didn't do that, the time they got back to the hut, they'd have to come back again. So it was far better to sleep by the toilet. It was a common thing, you see it all around you.
Yeah.
That's right.
I understand. Yeah. Yeah. So you had dysentery, but did you have malaria as well?
Oh man, that was common.
Yes.
That was common.
Yeah. Did you have beriberi? Did you have the swelling of the
Yeah,
legs?
very
Yeah.
tropical ulcers.
Tropical ulcers? Have you got any scars from your ulcers?
No, not really. Mine are pretty good.
How were they treated?
I'm trying to what place to put it in.
Did you have a doctor with you?
Oh yeah.
Who was it?
Dr. Millard was with us.
Phil Millard was with you. Yeah.
A lot of blokes, they used to take a lot of blokes down the river to have their ulcers cleaned out. And these tropical fish used to clean them out. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other doctors?
I can only remember Dr. Miller.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was that's right, but I didn't run in until later. When a second and third machine gunner, Dr.
Tim Godley.
Godley.
Tim Godley. Yeah.
He was good too.
Yeah. Now, where did you come up across?
Did he come back?
Yes. Yeah.
He came back.
Yeah.
He's gone now.
Oh yes. Yeah. He came
Come from
back.
Kalgoorlie. He spent a lot of his time in Kalgoorlie.
Yeah. Well, when he enlisted, he was.
Or Adelaide, was it?
He graduated from Adelaide, the same as Claude did.
Yeah, right.
But he was the doctor in Northampton
Wasn't it?
when he enlisted. Yeah.
Right.
And then later, after the war, he went to Antarctica and Cocos Island and ended up back in Adelaide, I think, running a government department.
Yeah, I sort of I went in for a while. He seemed to drift about, move about a lot.
Yeah.
Tim Godwin, you know, all of a sudden, gee, I haven't seen him for weeks and weeks, and all of a sudden you run into me and.
Do you think when you had contact with him, it would have been at Connew?
Would have been what?
Do you think when you had contact with Tim Godley, it would have been at Connew camp?
It could have been, yes.
Yeah.
Could have been.
Yes.
It could have been. Yeah, it could have been.
So, can you remember now? Can you actually remember the first time you saw a train run along the railway?
When I saw what?
Your first time you saw a train running on the Burma-Thailand railway.
The only time I saw a train, to remember seeing a train was when we were brought down to Singapore.
Brought back.
When we were released.
Oh yes, yeah. Well, when the line was finished, you must have gone back down to a place called Tamakan or Chongkai or something like that.
Yes, that's right.
Did you
That'd be right.
Which one did you go to? Did you go to Tamakan? That's beside the bridge itself.
Oh, Tamakan.
Yes. Did you ever see Claude Anderson in that camp
No,
when he came down from Burma?
no.
Were you there in that camp when it was bombed?
Where?
At Tamakan.
Yes, I was.
You were in there when it was bombed.
Yeah.
Do you remember how many people died when that happened?
Quite a lot.
Mm.
Quite a lot.
When you were in
Of course,
there,
there was a bridge at town, wasn't it? A bridge near there, wasn't it?
yes, the bridge over the River Kwai is right next to that camp, or that camp is next to the bridge. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, you probably knew this, that we had the line just about completed. Had our Bob come over and blew the end of it off again. We had to put it back up again. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, on shore end.
Yes.
And even if we got enough, say, argument, say we got enough 8 or 10 inches, the crisscross was sleepers
Yes.
and jacked it and gradually did
Yes.
so much it.
Really?
Yeah, and that's how they got enough.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, we did get enough.
Yeah.
What did they do? They come and blew the other end off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the Japs said, oh, well, we're not going to be big, so we built a temporary bridge just set up on an improvised one
Yes.
out of
Timber.
timber.
Mm.
And the train used to back in from one side with all the troops on and unhook each truck. And you'd have about 50 or 60 blokes. You pull truck by truck down until you got them all together and joined together. Then you go on the other side, you'd have about 100 blokes. And away you go. You pull them then straight through past the points. And once you get them past all, you bring all the empties back. And that's how they used to work it.
And this is going over the bridge.
And over there, back to the bridge.
So that they didn't have any engines pulling them. It was pulled by manual labour.
Manual labour.
And you were there doing that.
That's right, I've done it, yeah, mate.
Yeah. Did you know?
We were pulling them over and the troops were fast asleep in the trucks. We used to have, we worked at night till night time. They had bitumen flares and you grab these bitumen flares in the ground, you light them, that was your light, you know. And I forget who was with me at the time.
So when you
And
say
the door was open.
when you say you pulled troops over, were these Japanese
Japanese troops.
Ah, right.
Japanese troops.
So this is
They'd
after.
be fast asleep.
Yeah. Well.
Fast asleep. And my mate, he said, I'm going to be in this. So what are you going to do? He said, I'm going to grab this bloke's boots. So he grabbed the officer's boots and pinched his boots.
Yeah.
They went, God knows from this day what happened, but he got the other end. But
And they were fit troops, or were they
officers' boots?
Or were they? Yes, but the fellows, the Japanese troops that were in the train,
yeah.
were they wounded troops?
No, they were troops, active troops going up.
They were going up to up to Burma.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. Who is your officer at that time? Was it Mick Wedge, or was Mick Wedge in that camp?
I think he was.
Yeah.
I think Mick was. I think so, yeah.
So where were you
Could have been.
when the war ended?
And
Where were you when the war ended?
a place called Chimpong.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where I ran into Tim Godley.
Yes.
That's right. Oh,
Ah.
it was a fancy seeing you, Tim Godley.
Yes, but you already
He
knew.
was there ready.
You already knew him.
Huh?
You already knew him. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And from there we caught the train back to Singapore.
Yes.
And it was all voluntary labour. The engine drivers, they'd train it up to pull up, and we'd fill up with buckets of water for the boilers on the train.
I think you'd have an incentive to get back there.
Pardon?
I think you'd have an incentive to get back to Singapore.
Oh, I doubt it. No. I doubt it. No, I don't know. I still dream about it.
So that's after peace was declared. You're back in Singapore. How long was it before you came back to Australia?
About 3 weeks, Joy?
It was quite a while because everybody, a lot of us had come back, and I was.
You came back in your categories. Heavy sick, light sick, and so on.
Yes.
The real chronic goes for phone straight back.
So how did you come back? By plane or boat?
I was going to sort of built me up with better food, built me up.
Yeah. So now did you? How'd you come home? By boat or plane?
By boat.
By boat. What was the name of the boat?
I think, was it the Highland Brigade?
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Highland Brigade, I'm sure it was. I know. I was on the ship, and as we landed in Fremantle, I saw some people with a
Card with a people's name on it or something?
waiting to meet the husband,
Yes.
and I know 2 or 3 that what they were that
The husband wasn't
gone.
coming home. Yes.
they'd gone, they hadn't been notified.
Yeah.
They were down there to meet them.
Yeah. So, because you were a prisoner of war and you hadn't got any pay from the government, they owed you a lot of money.
Yeah.
Did they pay you when you were in Singapore, or did you wait till you
10
came back
cents
to?
a day we got.
Yes, I know. But
Oh, you mean-
when you got the pay, 3 years' pay that you were due because you hadn't been around to present your pay book, did you get paid back in Australia? I don't want to know the amount, or did you get paid in Singapore?
See.
You may not remember.
Yeah, we did get, we got paid something, but I don't think it was a lot.
You never had any money.
Yes.
I never ever collected Roy's money.
Yes.
She used to collect that. That was a big help for us because I lived every year for stuff around, clothes, supply.
Yes.
You didn't have much money when we come back because I came for everything.
I do know that when we broke ship in Fremantle, that Anglo Colonel, he got us up and called us up on the deck. He said, well, I'm going to call you all together. There's no distinction. I'm going to all fine you £5 each.
Yes.
The judge is all £5 for breaking ship.
Yeah. And did you paid your fine?
Oh, yeah, we paid all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they never paid us anyone to go to shore with. Because
No. All right, so the war's ended, and now you were married, weren't you?
Yeah, we got
Yeah,
married
yes,
along the
yeah,
hills
yeah,
before Roy joined up.
Yeah. No, I'll get that when I get your story. Yeah. So where did
we came back to be medically
Yes,
overhauled and
yeah,
all that sort of thing.
yes, and that's when you told me that you were a ranger or something like that at Yanchep.
That was my first job.
And you lived up at Yanchep
No,
itself?
no, wait a minute. No, I was with the railways for
Yeah.
I was with the railways for a while,
That
wasn't I?
was station master of Pindera, and he got Roy.
Yes.
There.
Oh,
He
right.
couldn't get men himself. He was short of men in the railways.
Yes.
He said, well, I'll give you a job in the railways.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do? He said,
Yeah.
no, it's very easy.
Yeah.
You just got to go down and get the laundry for the night shift and go and put the oil in the lamps and the points and that sort of thing. Oh, yeah, I'll do it. I'll be going.
Yeah. Good.
And I wasn't there very long, though, was I?
No, because Les.
My other relation, he was a POW, Les Tedley. He was a POW. He served in the English Air Force, and he was at Yanchep before I ever got there.
Really?
And it was him how I managed to get the news all about Yanchep.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? How I
Yes.
managed to get there.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you were at Hollywood Hospital, did you know Bill Newman?
Bill Newman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew him well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bill Newman, he was in the stores.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
And I'll just bring us this to a conclusion now because we're running out of time. But when did you move into this village?
Pardon?
When did you move into Trinity Village?
When did I move into Trinity? We're going to go back 13 years, 14.
We were at Mount Hawthorn. Roy, we left the Yanship, and Roy was in hospital, and I had the little baby daughter. She had illness, and that's why we left Yanship, and you were in Hollywood, and I had her in Children's Hospital. We lived in a shed at the back of the thickness. I can remember that.
Yeah, I paid $25 a week for a horse shed.
The rats used to run over the ceiling.
Well,
We couldn't get a house for love of money.
Joy cooked on a little spirit stove.
I
And
think
you
I-
can see the rats. The
Yeah.
rats about running along the shelves at night time. And we had this double bed, and all the heavy dew used to come off the iron onto our bed at night and it kept wet. Oh,
The
God.
prisoner of war, the women set up at Main's store, and I took the baby along. She was getting better then, and they said, "Oh, well, try and get you a house." And it was through them that we got the house at Round Hawthorn. We had to wait for it to be built. They were all ex-servicemen in that street, weren't they?
Anyway,
I'll
just
just-
a moment. We're
I'll
going
just
to
stop
get
you
the
there.
time. He wants
Yeah.
the time. How
Yeah.
long? How many years it was?
How long have you been here?
How long we've been here? 13 to 14 years.
Yeah.
We were at Mount Hawthorn.
Oh.
While you worked at Collingwood for...
I was at Hollywood 43.
Yeah.
We were at Mount Hawthorn nearly 43 years.
I suppose we'll just conclude now by saying, did you, when you were a prisoner of war, did you have a particular mate that you depended on and he depended on you?
Harry Blackers and I stuck together like nobody's business.
Yes.
What's the second thing?
Yes. Yeah.
I worked with his sister at Hollywood, as a matter of fact.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Roy, thank you very much for that interview.
That's all right.
I'm just going to stop this now. And Joyce, thank you very much for agreeing to follow Roy with this interview. And there's nothing sexist in the fact that we've done a male before we've done a female, or a man before a lady. But maybe could you just tell us a little about your life, when you were born, where you were born, where you went to school?
Yes, I can remember. I was born at Gumulling. Dad was stationed there. And then we went to Swanbourne. We went to Boybrook, then Swanbourne. He was stationed at Swanbourne. And I went to Swanbourne School. And then Dad was transferred to Mickery, and I was about 12-year-old. There was no high schools there, no. And then he went on to Lake Grace. There's no high school, but fortunately, I was only about 15. I got a job in the post office, and I was there till I was 21. And my grandparents were farmers at Taran Rock. That's just out from Lake Grace.
Uh-huh.
I used to go over there
Right.
weekends and made some wonderful friends. Lake Grace. I was there for 6 years, and I managed the drapery store. You got the sack when you turned 21 because they had to pay higher wages.
Oh, really? Yes.
That was the Depression years. So I managed a drapery store, and Dad was station master at Collie then, and I decided to go to Collie. I worked at the drapery store for quite a few years, and when I was at Collie, when I was at Lake Grace, I met a chap from Katanning, and he had a shoe store. We met over the phone, then he came out to see me, and I went with him for about 6 years. And that finished because he was very jealous. And we lived in too far away, he didn't dance, he didn't like me going to dances, so I had to ring him up in the middle of the floor. Anyway, let's see now. Yes, I was at Collie, and that's when I broke off an engagement. I was sort of engaged half and half. And I went to Wongan Hills because I boarded with them at Lake Grace. And they had businesses up there. Hector, and Dog's husband, he joined the Air Force, and she needed somebody to help her. So I was only up there a little while, and there was a big ball, and Dog was running, and it was for the hospital. and I met Roy that night. Danced, I think, nearly every dance with me. That's how our romance started. And we used to have lovely musical evenings. I had one of these pianolas, you know, and we used to play the pianola and Roy used to sing. And we had great times anyway, because then eventually the war came, and I think Roy's stepmother talked him into joining up. I said all the boys in Denmark were joining up, you know. So Roy joined up, and I used to go up to Northern Camp, didn't I, Roy, for a while?
Yeah.
To see you. And anyway, he changed over to the 2nd Force to be with his mates, and we decided to get married before he went away. They couldn't call the bands at Walgan Hill, so Dean Moore used to marry these soldiers, you know, in the chapel.
In the Soldiers Memorial Chapel? At St George's Cathedral?
Yes, yes. So then Dad was stationed in Cully, I think.
So you just came to the point where you got married?
Yes.
Well, do you mind if we have that photograph that you've got there? Helen will just put it in front of she'll bring it up. Helen will bring it up close for me. Now, thank you. No, that's fine, thanks. Now, the picture on the left is the two of you on your wedding day, I take it?
Yes, that's
And the picture on the right is the two of you on your day of your engagement.
Went down to Perth,
Yeah. Thank you very much. That's lovely. Now, so we've got the wedding out of the way.
Yes.
Did you have a honeymoon?
No, very short one, because Roy changed over, and we didn't have, I think we went home for a week, because Roy changed over and he had 2 pre-embarkation leaves. And so we had a little bit longer. Did we go down to Denmark? I think we did. Anyway, he was sent away then, and I did dressmaking.
Can I just interrupt you for a second? I seem to recall at one stage you told me that Roy asked you to guarantee or promise that you wouldn't enlist. Is that right?
Yes, yes. That was by letter. You know. He said, I don't want you joining up in the services. I don't think it's your lifestyle. I don't know why. Anyway, I said, well, if anything happens to you, I will. So anyway, I hadn't heard from Roy. We just had rumours that they were prisoner of war. And Tokyo Rose sent a message to Dad at the station house saying that Roy Smith was a prisoner of war of the Japanese. That's the first time I knew that he was alive.
Around what date was that?
I got about 4 cards all together. They were all old when I got them. So anyway, I decided I wasn't going to wait any longer for news. I used to haunt the box, you know, see if there was any mail from him. Anyway, I don't think anyone received mail. The prisoners of war. They only got cards, you know, and you didn't know whether they were still alive or not. So I joined the Air Force, and of course, working at the GPO, another girl and I, we did our rookies at Kirrinup, and then we were sent to Melbourne headquarters. Didn't like that very much, and I told the WAF officer I didn't join up to be spoken to, because I didn't know the names of the towns in Melbourne, and they wouldn't give you the number. You know, they'd been spoiled because they were all Melbourneites, and this other lass and I, we didn't know the numbers. So anyway, she said, oh, that's all right, I'll send you to a station, you'll be much happier there. And I was sent to Lake Boga Flying Boat Repair Depot, and I was there for 12 months, and they were very happy times. There was about 100 girls and 1,000 men working. All the signals was underground. We had to go down. We were on 3 ships, night shift, afternoon, and ship. And we used to go up in the flying boats when we come off duty at night in the morning.
Where is Lake Boga? Did you say?
Lake Boga, that's on the border of Swan Hill.
in Victoria.
Of New South Wales
And Victoria. Yes.
There was a big lake there. It was all hush-hush. You weren't allowed to speak about it to anybody. I think there's a letter there from one of the chaps there. And so our letters were all censored, you know. I wrote to Roy every month, all the time he was away, and he never got one of my letters till the end of the war. And he got a whole pile of them. And he said when he was convalescing in Singapore, he said, you said in one of your letters that you were only allowed to write a small card. You were going home on leave, so I presumed you must join the service. But he didn't mind, you know. Anyway, I was very happy there. Then I was sent to Ballarat. Service police I was at Ballarat 8 months. Then I went to Service Police headquarters in Melbourne, and Ballarat I was there about 4 months, I think. And then I was sent to RAF headquarters at Toorak. And I was there when the war ended, and everybody else was getting news. And because they had to build their own for the airplanes to land. He was one of the last names to come out. So I got very concerned. And I asked the head at the RAF, could I go back and be transferred back to West Australia? I wanted to be home in case I didn't have good news. Anyway, so he said, yes, you can go back by plane or you can go by boat or Indian Pacific. And I said, oh, I'll go back by Indian Pacific. And they said they got a booking for me straight away, 8 to a carriage. If I had have gone back by boat, I'd have got the gold card because that was counted as
overseas service.
Yes, and my brother and his wife, they never left Australia. His wife, she was a wife, married my brother. They were stationed in Melbourne, and I don't think she came back. I mean, she may have came back by boat, but she got the gold card. They did. And that was a sore point with me. I rang Canberra and they said, you're looking after your husband, we'll make sure you get the carer's allowance. And I got a carer's allowance. But I'm not worried about the gold card because Roy's treated very well, being TPI, and the POW. So, what else did you want to know?
Well, I'm just interested in one comment you made there, that Roy was involved in building airfields. Now, where was that? You said Roy he hadn't come back quickly after the war was over because he was involved in building airfields.
Yes, there was no way for the planes to land, Roy told me. They had to build their own airfield.
So that was in Thailand, was it?
Yes, must have been.
Right. Well, that helps fix where he might have been. Does the name Kachu Mountain Camp, does that mean anything to you?
What name?
Kachu, Kachu
does.
Kachu Mountain Camp.
Kachu. Yeah, that does ring a bell, but I can't place it. But
No.
The name.
Yeah.
The first he knew that the war had ended, he told me, the Jap children were making planes out of their silk handkerchiefs and saying that the planes were landing, the war was over.
Yeah. Now, was that Jap children or Thai children?
That'd be Thai children.
Yes. No, that's fine. Yeah. No, just got to refine it.
And then I got word to say I'd been in signals at Guildford. I thought that was underground, if I remember rightly. And to say that Roy was convalescing at Singapore, and he had to put on weight or get used to food and that. And they told me that he'd be coming back by boat, and they thought it would be too sentimental to meet the boat. It would be better to meet at the barracks at Swanbourne. So I got Roy's stepmother, and we were driven out to the barracks. That's where I met him.
Yeah. I didn't know there were barracks at Swanbourne. I did not know there were barracks at Swanbourne at the time. And they were also at Karrakatta, were they?
I don't know about Tarracata, but I know that's where I met Roy.
Yes, yeah.
And
Didn't someone go to Point Water?
I don't know
Yeah.
about Point Walter.
Yeah,
All I knew,
yeah.
I got word
Yeah,
from
I'm sure they
the
did.
army that they were picking me up and Roy's stepmother,
Uh-huh.
and they'd call out names, and when they called Roy's name, that's like when and Roy's sister's husbands, they were there to meet him.
So when he came out, what was his physical condition? When his name was called?
Than I expected, because he'd been kept in Singapore. Drayton told me Gracie Fields put on a concert for them. But Les Tetley, strange to say, our sister was still in England. We couldn't get her back with it. She had another little boy over there. Barry was born in England, and we couldn't get them back. It was too dangerous. He thought that Glad would have come back to Australia. And it was very strange because Roy came back by boat the same day. We had not heard from Les. Glad hadn't heard from him either. And he came back by plane the same day as Roy.
And I never really, I didn't know him from a bar of soap. We both went back at the same
I
time.
was engaged to someone at the other chap when Roy went away. So anyway, that was it.
Now, what about, how many children do you have?
2. I've got
Two.
a son and a daughter.
Yes.
Son
And
and daughter.
the son where lives,
He's at Mindari.
Mindari.
Yes,
Yes,
he had a good job in Commonwealth Securities,
yes.
and he retired early. I enjoyed life for a while, and then he got bored. He was lecturing at the uni and that. So he saw a job advertised in the state government, and it's totally good job there.
And Adele is her work is what work does she do? What work does Adele do?
Oh, she does legal work for
Yes.
a Erdy settlement agency.
Yes.
She did that before she was married.
Yes.
And she got a good job. She's still there.
Yeah. Oh.
And Derek he was an accountant. He got his accountancy. And he was with Commonwealth Securities. And now I don't know what firm he works with. It must be a good job because he's got a car supply and seems to have time off when he wants to.
Now, did you know Claude Anderson before the war, or did you only get to know of him after the war?
Him after. When we lived at Yanship, a couple of the doctors came out to see us and their wives, didn't they, Roy? And I can't remember their names. Roy probably can.
Do you remember what their names were, Roy?
I can't remember that.
No.
Doctors came out to Yanship.
Were they POW doctors, or were they just?
No, they'd be POW doctors.
Like, yeah, there were quite a number of Perth doctors that were in Singapore, like Bert Nairn. Does that name ring a bell? Major Nairn?
Nairn.
Yeah.
Dr. Nairn, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Dr. Nairn.
And a farmer,
Who?
Dr. Farmer.
Farmer, yeah. Yeah, we called him Pills. We didn't know him in Pills.
Oh, that was Claude.
Huh?
It was Claude
That was Claude.
that you called Pills. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He was a farmer. He was a ear, nose and throat specialist.
I think that's right. Yes.
I was under it when I came back for quite a while.
Okay. Of course, you would have known a lot of them from Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He forgets a lot of things, but one night he sat down, he remembered all the doctors.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Fred, I got a book I couldn't grab it straight away. Well, I wrote and laid back in bed and I thought, now, I wonder how many doctors I can remember since I've been working at Hollywood,
Yeah.
either in the wards or on the Stones parades, and it's to take the patient up with discharges when they picked up their tablets and they had to go through these different doctors. And I went through 2 or 3 pages full of these specialists and doctors have been, coming and going.
Yes.
And sometimes I'd be thinking, well, I must have known any day, think, no, I couldn't remember. And the 2 nights in that place, all of a sudden, I think I know who that doctor was, and he come back to you, you know.
Well, I remember you remembered that Brian Walton was a solicitor.
Oh, Brian, yeah.
Because when you read my book, you'll find that I've only got five solicitors, and I've missed Brian out. Because I had Bernie O'Sullivan,
Yeah.
George Gwynn, Ross Ambrose.
Yeah, Ross Ambrose,
And Blue Wilson.
Louis Wilson,
Yeah.
the loop, wasn't it?
Yeah. Bit of a character, I think.
Louis Wilson. Major Cough?
Well, yeah, but he wasn't a solicitor, was he?
Huh?
He wasn't a solicitor. Major Cough was just the company commander.
That's right.
Well, I'm just about running out of time on here, so may I say thank you so much to both of you for agreeing to do the interview, which I will put onto a DVD and I'll send it to Adele because it'll help her when she's on the trip to look for little things.
Yes, that's right. Yes, she's looking forward to it.